I should make that higher. That's so loud. I apologize. That should be good. Oh, I should have coffee. Oh, I'm dehydrated. Yeah. Oh, alright. Hitting play on video. Where's the button? There it is. Welcome, my friends. Oh, man, my feet are throbbing, boys. How are you guys doing? People in past broadcasts, I see you. Okay, hope we're having a lovely day. I finally got a minute to sit down and not move. Okay. Whew, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. We are here to do nothing. But, nothing really, honestly, we're just hanging out. But, what do you call it? This Gotham game looks pretty dope. Although, the animations look a little, I don't know. I feel like the person plays, who does this? Who who plays these games, Arkham City, Batman, is sitting here bouncing and ping-ponging between people. You know what I mean? Who doing that? It also looks really weird. Like, this looks kind of staggered, like where it's like boom, 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 boom. I hate it. I want it to be just. Remember the good old Assassin's Creed days where you'd like parry somebody, stab one person in the neck, shoot someone with some sort of gun arm, and you would just wreck? I miss those days. Ladies and gentlemen, my eyes are falling apart. Man, Our boy Lone Syndicate is in here watching me dig my eyes out. Great. What's good, Lone Syndicate? How are you? Lone Syndicate, that blue suits you, buddy. Whew. First of all, I think that the one dude, Red Hood, his like weird spectral leaping shit, looking clean, dude. Can't wait. Can't wait. Although I don't know if I'm gonna play this game. Are you guys gonna be into it? This is one of those games where I feel like it might be one of the ones I wish I could play because I wish I had time, but I can't. So instead, I'll be like, cool. Anyways, thank you, Sparks, for the bit. Appreciate you, hucking rocks. Lone Syndicate says, how was your day today? Lone Syndicate, how was your day, man? I was in constant motion. That's my whole thing. Same thing as yesterday. Less hot. Less heat strokey in that big-ass shop. But, you know, feet are throbbing. I need to get better shoes, or I just have horrible circulation in my feet. Which, I don't know which one it is. Probably the feet one. But, I want to get some good shoes with, like, good toe boxes. And I don't know what they'd be. Because most shoes I find are horrible. But maybe I just have fucked up feet. Because I walk on the front of my feet always. And shoes kind of force you to walk like a normal person. Less good. But if you just walk barefoot on concrete, your fucking feet are going to break apart. So it's like a lost battle. Thanks. I enjoyed it as well. Yeah. The blue. Lone Syndicate says, is this the next game you're getting into, Grin? This one? Nah. Probably not. It looks cool. I just don't know. I'm way more excited for Suicide Squad than the Arkham Knight games. This one looks like kind of has like a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. You know, the game that came out that everyone loved and was like, it's so good. But everyone's like, dude, there's like 5 games that came out right now. What? Is it this or that? Yeah, I'm gonna play the other one. But no, it looks like a good game. But I'm more interested in the Suicide Squad version because guess what? It's open world and we play together. That's one of the big things. Maybe no, you can play together with this one too. Yeah, I think you could play together Suicide Squad things. I do think you main. Actually, I don't know. I feel like for Suicide Squad, you should probably main one person, right? You're not playing all of them at once. I don't know. But that being said, though, I have no idea who I'll play in that game. In the Suicide Squad game, I feel like I got to go with the weird like hobo man because he's kind of like, I don't know. Deadshot to me seems a little corny. What do you call it? Harley Quinn seems a little like Lost, you know. There's like a shark guy. I'm kind of also like, I could do without. I think the hobo guy is where we're gonna do. Your main Harley Quinn. I knew you would. I knew you would. For me, Harley Quinn just seems a little bit like. I feel like a lot of her abilities are gonna be like, look how cute this ability is, but it sucks. I don't want that. You know, that's pain to me. Well, let's see. It says my day was good. Had my internship today. We did a few activities and had lunch. Me and my friends and one of my supervisors had a lovely talk about anime. So overall, good day. Sounds like a great day, Lone Syndicate. That sounds awesome, man. I have one person in my space, in my real life space, that I can talk to about anime, and I don't want, person who I'm talking about is lovely, very sweet, very charismatic, overall good dude, but very much likes talking about themselves. So you'll be able to like say two things, and then they're off to the races, and it just isn't a cycle, basically. But relationships. Family. It says, my girl, Harley Quinn. I don't know if I'd say Harley Quinn's my girl. I feel like Harley Quinn's a little. I'm not sure if any of the DC people have a waifu that I'm like, you know what? Yes. Just because Harley Quinn seems like a problem. It's not like. Yeah, she's like you don't even get like the best parts of yandere where the person very much enjoys you and says the whole world is fodder, At least there's that. Harley Quinn, you're just the fodder. And she's in love with a psychopath, you know what I mean? Like, seems like it's a loss. A loss across the board. Now, if somehow you were the Harley Quinn's fucking delusional, maybe I would be like, okay. We can have something. Something's here. But yeah. As far as the only game that's exciting to me right now, Lone Snake, the next apple of my eye, as you said, I think it's gonna be the Saints Row game. That to me is the only one that I'm thinking, okay, all right. But I will say, what's kind of been dominating my mind a little bit, Lone Syndicate, is we had a person that popped into our stream yesterday on YouTube, which was a very sweet person. Seemed Pew Pew was who he was. Seemed awesome. Apparently, he popped off on YouTube, etc. In his era, I guess, and was offering various advice. And I was like, ooh, okay. And I always appreciate, anyone, even not even like a person who has supposedly, done this or that, but just the idea of someone being like, hey, this is how I would do it, or this is how I did it, is always interesting. And I wonder, because there is the person mentioned a streamer who I've heard a bunch about. His name is Ludwig, and he seems like he's incredibly clever. But I also wonder, I don't know, perhaps I'm kind of caught in this weird thing. Have you guys ever gotten advice where somehow you're like, the advice isn't that, like, I want to pursue the advice, but there's something in my head that's making it like me frustrated, whether that's with the advice itself or with the way the advice was delivered or things like that, you know what I mean? It kind of leaves me in this like this weird place where I'm kind of like, I mean, I guess, yeah, because it didn't help that the advice that we were given was also advice that kind of contradicts our entire strategy that we've been kind of forming, which is the whole YouTube Twitch thing. It's like classic formula that's worked for everybody. Stream on Twitch, use your YouTube as like kind of an advertiser billboard to get back to season, or to get back to the one thing, to get back to Twitch, essentially. Then have that be like a sequencing system, And I'm kind of like, I mean, I don't, like, to me, my only worry is that I feel like people, people will click into what's working for everybody, and then they'll start to do it, and then they'll realize, oh, that's not working in the same way it was, because everyone can make the inference one-to-one, And I think that's why algorithms kind of shift and change. Otherwise, everybody would have like a complete cheat sheet to get to there. I don't know. I want to think about it more. I just don't know if I'm willing to. Yeah, if I'm willing to like completely upend what we've currently been kind of planning and pacing ourselves out for, to pursue that one. But also, it makes some sense. I think that's why it's a little. That's why there's contention. It's like it makes sense what this person's saying, but at the same time, I feel like if I just abandon what I'm currently trying to do that, then it'll be kind of messy. You know, granted, if what we do for a while, this whole like multi-channel thing is shits the bed, then yeah, we'll try that. You know, keep trying things. But yeah. Lone Syndicate says, it was even more fun of a conversation when my other supervisor asked, is anime inappropriate? And we all responded, it can be. And then the supervisor who knew about anime said, High School DxD, those first 2 seasons, wow. I mean, I guess, yeah, no, I guess. Maybe I'm, yeah, no, you're probably right. But I don't know, part of me, man, a part of me is also just like, it's just like, to me, inappropriate is something that makes, I don't know, I feel like inappropriate to me isn't TV shows. Like if I was reading a book, like, this is the way I perceive it kind of. If I was reading a book and I open up the book and I started reading the book and I got something that started making me feel uncomfortable, I feel like it's probably the book's point. The book is trying to make you feel uncomfortable, but I always have the ability to close the book and walk away, you know. And I won't judge people who are reading the book which I walked away from, but yeah, you know, like, to me, like, inappropriate to me seems weird. Although maybe that's probably the best word for it, but I guess it's just not the way I perceive the thing. I guess it just feels like it's not quite right. It's the only way I could perceive it. Although I agree, dude. Lone Syndicate, do you want to get your heart fucking ripped out of your chest? Man, I just learned about this the other day. I think this is right. Luckily, you know, Shield Hero is proving kind of that it's very, voice actors are incredible, and they're very good about modeling their previous voice actor, more or less. To where if you weren't really paying attention, you could kind of be like, this is the new normal, without even knowing it. Shield Hero has a changed voice per person. Anyways. But what was I going to say? Something in regards to voice actor. It broke my heart, man. I learned that High School DxD guy, the dub, I think the English dub, maybe it was the Japanese dub. I think it's the English dub. The dude got caught for child Hatada, so he got voiced in the latest season. He got a different voice actor. Luckily, the one dude is almost identical to him. I can't really tell the difference. But still kind of like, what the fuck? Why? You tainted my not pure, but person. Just the worst. Anyways, I hated hearing that. Axiom says, based off of my very limited understanding of economics, I think it's way better to specialize in a single trade than to try and do everything. I definitely think, to me, I think that's the thing. I think if you can rationalize and make sense of the strategy that you've put forth, then you can tell when something is no longer working. The problem is when someone says, do this, and then you do it, and then you succeed, that's terrifying. Like, to me, that was always the worst possible outcome imaginable, is if my video started to do really well, and I had no idea. Because then you're in a perpetual loop of this perspective of getting lucky, you know? Whereas if you can be like, okay, no, if I built this in this way, with this in mind, with all these lining up, will this hit the mark? And then you put it through, and it hits the mark. Maybe it hits the mark a little bit less. Maybe you understand where that went wrong. But the concept of getting lucky with like an upload is terrifying. The last thing I want to get is lucky. I want to make sure I'm good at hitting the mark, about knowing how to sequence things, knowing how to cultivate attention and interest and stuff like that. Axiom. So that's kind of where I feel I want to aim. But I agree with you on the doing too many things might be too much. Although the multi-channel things, I think that's more of like a sanity thing for me. But granted, I understand that. My dad made the right. I told him what we're doing currently, and my dad made the same point. Is like, I just think it's his gut tells him that doing too many things would be too much. Like you're better off focusing your attention on one thing. But my response to that was, I was doing that for 7 years, doing one channel with like almost this gaming as my thing. And then we tried to do meme stuff. That was fun. We did like kind of TV show reviews. That actually worked really well, given the video, you know. So I was like, oh, so it's one of those things where like I do my best to genuinely listen to people and genuinely like I cannot stress enough how I appreciate so many people's perspective on things, and like because again like all of the perspective I can pick and mine out the ones that I think make the most sense and are useful based on what I've tried. But it is one of those things where when someone's like, you have to do this is the gateway to freedom basically, and then in the back of your mind you're like, I tried that 5 years ago, and maybe I could do it differently, but in the back of your mind you're kind of like, okay, but everyone has advice, which is awesome, and I think if you're a person who genuinely like accepts advice and uses advice, then people are all the more wanting to give it to you. But at the same time you're kind of like, man, this is the 5th time you've given me advice. And I'm not you, Axiom. I'm talking about, like, general things. I feel like maybe it's a subconscious human trait, but, like, when someone tells you what's a better way, there's a part of you that I think resists. And maybe it's because human beings just, like, change so much. That might be a big part of it. Or, like, because the reality of, like, someone saying what you're currently doing is not working means you're going to have to change your approach. And that means changing, or that means working even harder to find a different path, or yeah, but it doesn't have to be that. It can also mean just aiming properly and, you know, finding something that is worth it and efficient, I guess. Anyways, what's good, Stitch? Stitch says, Logan, you have been watching Eurovision, or is it basically not a thing in Canada? I've heard about Eurovision. I've heard about it. Is it like, it's either like a song festival or it's a throwing rocks. It's either like a song festival or an anime thing. I think it's a song expo, but no, I've heard about it constantly, but I don't think it's a thing in Canada. Is it fun, Stitch? What is it? What is Euro? I can't read. You know what I'm saying? Axiom said, also, what's good, Axiom? Hi. Good to have you, buddy. Always appreciate you being here. This is why products are made in multiple steps in different parts of the world instead of all being made in one place, because it's way better to have specialized factories for certain steps. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I also think that I think that was something that I learned, Axiom, in a book I read a while ago. It was the what is it called? With Disrupt You, but it basically talks about if you want to become good at something, and this is kind of akin to another book I read which calls With Winning in Mind, but it basically everything has a process or a like kind of a pipeline. So especially with creation, you need to find out, like, one of the things that's helped me the most is not just making a video that I have an idea of, but trying to like one of the first pillar, essentially the first part of the pipeline sequence or format or systematizing something, is basically research and development, which actually is very helpful to be like, okay, I have this idea, what is it achieving and who is it achieving something for, and how can I make it better? How can I actually make it so it achieves greater thing? And the design aspect of it is the format in which I'm making the video, whether it's voiceover, whether it's live commentary, whatever it be, is that doing what I want it to do. And right now, people, like, that's one thing my dad constantly gets on me about, which is very helpful as well. I understand where he's coming from. But people always, like, there's, like, referral links I could do. There's, like, merch. There's, like, tons of ways to kind of, like, quote-unquote capture the value that you're creating from a video that, you know, makes someone laugh enough to where they want to subscribe, or you've done that for a couple months now, so people want to pay it back, or whatever it could be. So there's these methods of, what do you call it, capturing value is what I've always heard it referred to as. But for me, I don't want to make sure I can nail creating value confidently, like always bang, hit the mark, always bang, hit the mark. And for people who are like Ludwig, who talk about, like, there's absolutely a way you can systematize and, like, if you think about things, know exactly what people are searching for, knowing exactly what people are hunting for, and create that thing. My only worry with that, and I know I've understood that for a while, but my only worry about that is that you start to get in the habit of creating stuff that you have zero interest in, and this is the hellscape that I've been in for a while, where you create something and you're the only one doing it, but you hate doing it, or not hate doing it, but you have like you're burnt out on it badly, badly. Like, this was the Let It Die conundrum, where I loved the game, I loved making content for it, but sure as shit, everyone hated when I did anything else. And yeah, to me, it was like one of those things where it's like, okay, I want to make sure I'm not just a one-trick pony, you know, but that also means things are harder. That means things are like there's 1,000 like roads to learn that you need to know how to pivot to. Now granted, maybe you should just learn one road, which are kind of what we're doing, and then when things start to feel like you're not enjoying it as much, find ways to learn another road and kind of ease up on that current road, I guess, and eventually be able to ping pong back and forth. That's kind of, I think that's the biggest like PewDiePie is the best example of that, I think, of just a person who's went down a certain path, started getting as much fun and value out of that as he could, and then jumped out of it. Granted, I still wonder, man, like to me, it seems like the biggest, like the hardest thing when creating anything is the initial momentum of you creating or capturing value. So like the people talk about like you need to get your big break. I hate that idea again, because it like if you get your big break before you're even competent about what you're doing in terms of creating value, then you're going to be kind of sitting there like, wow, I got lucky and I wasted all the opportunity I was given, and I don't want that to happen. But I am in this place, Axiom, where I'm kind of like slowly aggregating knowledge about how to do certain things, how to sequence certain things, but it's slow. And part of me is kind of like, it's slow enough to where I'm getting antsy, but I'm still very, again, I think I'm in a much better course than where I currently was when it comes to all this stuff. But yes, I gotta get through this book I'm currently reading, and then I'm gonna read a book that's like legitimately from like the Mr. Beasts of the world and stuff like that, like these algorithm guys who are like very good about talking about content and how you're creating a channel that's actually successful and stuff like that. But right now, the book I'm currently reading, I'm talking to you guys about it a lot, but it's the, I haven't really actually read too much more of it, so I won't be able to do our like book review session here for too long, but hopefully you guys will put up with me for that. Lone Singlet says, I say hold off on making a big change again, at least until you see how the new channels. Yeah, I definitely will hold course to the two. To me, I don't know if the two channels are the wrong step. I think that, like, to me, the one thing that is, I kind of have some static in my head that shouldn't be there, but it's the idea of, like, I see the Share Your Grin channel, and it's like, it gets like 15 views or something like that, which is expected almost. But I also, like, that was the case even when it was on the normal channel, like on the GRINN channel. But so I just need to find a way to, capture value in that regard. And I think it's actually a lot, like, again, one of the piece of advice that Pew Pew gave us last time, which I cherish. I think it's very good advice, but it's look at what all the other creators are doing and then find a way that you could do it in such a way that people wouldn't just think you're copying, but you're making it your own, But that also requires you stopping, thinking, decoding how you would approach that. Especially in weeks like this where you're kind of spent. Although in weeks like this where you're spent, it's also even more of a fire under yourself to be like, okay, this is also exhausting. I need to make this work. I need to, it's all twice the amount of fire under your ass kind of thing as well. Now Maxine says it will always, it will allow you made a better content. It will allow you to make better content, that one kind, and it will cause viewers who want that kind of content to keep coming back to your channel. Yeah. That was the idea, Axiom. Yeah. For having multiple channels, is just to not have it so that like you're constantly under, like you're like throwing random things at them. And I have noticed that, by the way, like momentum is not as like varied as it's been, which is nice. Although I do see how much of a desire it is, or how much of like a, also thank you for the bits. I do think it, I could see how much of a value it is to be a personality kind of channel rather than like a guide or a coverage kind of channel, because sometimes there's nothing to cover and there's always some sort of goofy game to play and some sort of thing to laugh at, which is why in moments when you're like super not creative, it's very nice to have the Share Your Grin channel, like the channel that's just us looking at media, talking about TV shows, because it's quite personality based. So it's just kind of like let go and have fun. But then there's like, I don't know, to me, I think there's also a part of it where like people, you need to be enough of your like the president of your own fan club kind of feeling to basically be like, I want you to watch me based on nothing but my personality. Like that's a lot to ask. I'm not sure if I have the heart and soul to do that, although maybe I need to, I don't know. But yeah. Axiom says, I could be wrong though. YouTube might be very different than real world economy, as I am not a YouTuber. No. I think YouTube is set up, Axiom, in a way that is very similar to. I think YouTube is set up in such a way that it's how I think every social media thing is set up, which is there's an abundance of content everywhere. So the system itself is built to keep engagement, but to also give you the ability to filter what you don't want, because that will lead you to be engaged more. So anything that like signals to like, that's why it's only going to become worse or like better depending on what you enjoy. But the idea of like flashy, quick videos, like TikTok is so good, and I think we're probably gonna have a yo-yo effect where eventually TikTok is gonna keep maintaining its momentum, and then I think eventually the people are gonna want a longer-ish form content again, and it's gonna keep yawing back and forth. Granted, I think that's always been the case. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think YouTube is based on the system of if people signal to the system that they're no longer watching the full video, then that's the best point to like cut out all the bullshit in your video that's not helpful or not interesting. Which is also why you see a lot of videos that are like, here we go, zoom in, edit, fun, blah, blah, and you're just like, you're just like constantly, like you're going a mile a minute. You're like, I can't breathe, I'm gonna suffocate. But also I find that editing also charming. So yeah. Axiom says also, sorry for ranting. No, I love Axiom. Sorry for ranting, but I just watched Millennials actress. I just watched Millennial Actress today, and it's one of the best goddamn movies I've ever seen. It actually made me cry. Am I reading that right? Oh, no, I'm not reading. Melanim Actress. What's that? What is that? I'm probably not saying it right, but it sounds great. Mod lady again, shaking my head. Nah, I'm good. I'm good, Fluff. I'm good. You be waiting. You be taking the time. You also got a good excuse, man. Axiom says you should watch it at some point. Axiom, I already got a big laundry list of shows that I want to watch that will for sure make me cry. The one that I think, I think that's what I'm gonna watch next. I had an anime I want to watch. I think I'm gonna watch King Rankers. That's gonna fuck my life up. But I haven't cried in a while, and I think I need it. So I'm gonna watch that anime. It's about a deaf and mute boy who's a prince, but he's also kind of, everyone shits on him. But he has like this demon that keeps him happy, but it has like the same art style kind of like this warm glow as March comes in like a lion. It's gonna fuck my emotions up, but I'll take it. That one also seems like it's gonna end on a happy note. Like it's like pushing through adversity. It's this dude that's like accepting his short hand in life, and then just pushing through it, which I love. Lone Syndicate says, question, is the stream buffering for anybody else? Let me know if it is. Let me know if it is, and I'll reset this bitch. But you need to tell me. Spark says, well, my hockey team was just eliminated. Hucks 2 more bits at me. Ah! What happened, Sparks? Man, as a Canadian, that's where I fall short. I have never cared about sports ever. Honestly, I think it's a fun atmosphere, but that's it. Okay. It also doesn't help that I don't know what's going on. And even if I do, it's like, okay, I've been here, I've done this. Maybe it's fucked up because video games have such variability on like how people can approach. And I guess sports have equally amount of variability, but like, different maps. You don't got that many different chords, Axiom says the movie is free on YouTube as well. Okay. Losing says, but Grin, I wanted to talk to you about some things, and usual anime. Hit me with it, Lone. You don't have to prime me. Hit me with it. Axiom says I might be a little deluded in how YouTube works because of my favorite creators don't care about money. They only care about the quality of video essays. No, I agree with that, man, to some extent. Although if you also want to survive, like I think to me, that's where I think people get caught up in a weird thing of it. Where like I do think there's a constant YouTube rewards just the system from like adolescence to like maturity. I think it nourishes this ego of numbers going up. So I think it's just like views equals success. And then watching those numbers go up, I think the same thing could sequence with monetary incentives. So you see like, oh, I made this much this month. Oh, I made that much. Oh, I got this much sponsorships. Oh, now I can get even more sponsorships. Look at my bank account going up. So I think that's a part of it. But for me, dude, you know what my plan is? If we ever pop off, immediately put it into like low risk kind of investment shit, and then try to get sponsorships. Immediately not buy a mansion, just put it into more investing stuff so that I could like retire at 30 and just be like, fuck it. I'm out of the race. I'm out of the race. I could have a mediocre like a house, business, or whatever, and I could just be semi-okay. That is the dream, baby. And not a mansion. It's just to be like, I'm a free. I don't want the world. I just want peace. Okay? And a little bit of security. Because I would like a family one day. But I also think that that's something interesting, because I do think that the people want, like, from the channels that you watch, I would say that I think it's probably a different metric. I think they want, it's weird because they both sequence. So I feel like if nobody was watching their content, would they still make the video? I don't know. Why don't they upload it to Vimeo and not? There's clearly like some algorithm of their sense of being like, I would like more people to see it. Now, granted, maybe that video makes no money, but it's still some sort of value proposition of like, hey, so many people could get something out of this. This could be helpful. This could be interesting. This could be a cool perspective on this. But for anyone who says like that money is not in any way the thing, I think it's just like you wanna retire one day. You wanna make sure if your mom had cancer, you'd be able to pay for the whatever, like or a heart transplant, something, right? Like money is something that is. It's not the point of life in any way, but I do think it gives you freedom. It gives you the ability to calm the fuck down and not be terrified of the future, I say this is not very a material person, I don't think. I have like, the only thing I've ever buck wild on is my PC, and that's it, really. Also I have like monitors and such, but even then that's, like for the amount of money that I have, I've saved a lot of it, But yeah, but what do you call it? Lone Singlet says, but Grin, I want to talk to you about some things usually. Oh, right, yeah. Fluff says, managed to get 30 days worth of prescription this time, much better than 7 days, which don't end up being enough. Yeah. I hope that 30 days is enough. Golly. Axiom says, continually following a path on YouTube that creates the most views and therefore the most money would lead you down a path of stagnation and not self-improvement on what you create. I do think it's important to like create value. I don't think it's there's a part of, even if you devoid all of the monetary aspect of YouTube, there is something to be said for, I think people love the notion of people seeing what they create, even from and I'm not sure if it's like greed or ego. I don't think like there's these systems that are meant to kind of gauge that with you, and anyone who says otherwise, I feel like it's not that I don't think there's other motivators that are worth, like they're good and they're tamed and they're kept in line, but just to say that you do things for multiple reasons and not just one, And again, it's like if you're gonna be creating that much value, you're also it would make sense that you could capture as much value as you possibly can to therefore not be at the behest of the world and its horror, So I think there's a good argument for wanting to make consistent money, but for that to not be the only goal that you have. I think it's acceptable to want to create, to grow your business, but to not grow your business at all possible costs. I think this is what the 7 deadly sins in like certain mythoses and of course religions and such, these kind of like arbingers of doom. They're not solely bad, lust or whatever is not solely evil. It's whether it consumes you entirely that it becomes monstrous and is a gateway to horrible stuff. But also the right amount of greed can make it so that you can keep yourself safe and not drown yourself with not being able to get medical expenses, to not be able to not be there for your child who might need you or whatever, So I do think that's the game of life. It's trying to temper your sin, I guess, but also revel in it if you find that you have none. You know, it's like it's not solely wrong to be envious. It's wrong to let your envy devour you, but it's totally acceptable to say that person did something that I want. I want to have that life. I didn't even know that was possible. I'm excited to try. I'm excited to like, learn from that person. But if that ever becomes so diluted that you become hateful and resentful of that person, then that does nothing. That turns into it's a false start, essentially, you know. But yeah, to me, I guess I don't like for people who do want to hunt for views. I don't know if that's any less bad as people hunting for money. You know, I think it's all based on a metric of if it consumes you or not. If it becomes the only value you have, you know. Hand says, what's got hands? Hand says, the anime You Lie in April makes me cry every time I watch it. Dude, it's so good. It doesn't make me cry. Well, it makes me like feel wonderful. It's like the most wholesome, happy hug of a show. It's just like literal warmth, and it's also it's a little painful at times. But man, one of the things that still sticks with me, Hans, from that damn thing, that damn anime, is the kakatsu meaning, essentially, where like if your current existence is actually pretty horrible. Like, people have this perspective of like, oh, my loving family makes it so that, like, you know, my shitty job is bearable. But the guy in the video, or the guy in the show, makes a good point for like, well, yeah, no, like like if something is cold, your body will normalize cold, and like if your daily life is kind of meh, your body will normalize meh. Whereas you're constantly going back from like this really, really warm, and he makes the example of a kakatsu, kind of just like this like table where it has a heater under it, and on a cold day your legs are under it, you're like warm, toasty, and cozy. But it's same thing if you're wrapped in a blanket on a cold day. If you step away from the blanket, it's that much more cold. The cold environment is even colder, and that was one of those things that stuck with me from the show. Is like, yeah. It kind of makes sense though, how people, like, if you've had the highest of high, like, things are relative, and also things have a contrast in them, and contrast has come from the previous thing that you've just been in, you know. So if you were sitting pretty and then you had nothing, it'd be terrible. I think that's why, like, you see these like massive shifts with like wealth, like people who, especially now, people who are like either becoming like Bitcoin millionaires or like who have lost so much money in the stocks that they're basically worthless. And these are like these polarities that have people like OD on drugs or jump off a bridge, you know. Axiom says, that's my stance on the matter. You know, I think I agree with everything you're saying. I just think, to me, yeah, I think there's an easy vilification that I've seen people do, where it's like, this person is viewership hungry. I think if you get to like a Jake Paul level, yeah, probably bad. you've dug into that sin a little too much. But if you're like PewDiePie, who kind of seems like he uses it as a metric for doing something right, because your job at the end of the day is to create something that other people find value in and want. If you didn't want to create like something that only, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like anyone makes a concession at some point. Yeah, even if it's somehow like hypnotized, like you've seen other content and you liked it formatted in this way, so you're gonna do it in the same way. But is it because you liked it? That came from a weird place. Like, that guy maybe was doing it not because he liked the look of it, because he knows people like the most look of it, I guess. What's good, Little Savage? Little Savage says, hey, Grin, how's it going? It's going pretty good, Little Savage. Hope you're having a lovely day, buddy. Whew. Oh, my body. Lone Syndicate says, first off, Day to Live Spirit Pledge, the mobile game I'm playing. It's on its third week of playing, and I'm level 44, and I have all but one of the spirits from the main cast. All of them but one. Okay, so you're one off. For the anime game, spirits origami with the white hair girl. Oh, the white hair girl to me is the best. The one who's a freak, love it. She's great. I'm not sure if you remember her. I don't. If it's the short, like the one who's like a freak, who's like a genuine freak, I think she's great. I think she's awesome. A little emotionally dead, but still. But sometimes I found out. Oh no, sorry. Something I found out is that there are a lot of spirits that I know nothing about, or even knew exactly. Like, one of the spirits named that, I found out that there are Day to Live mobile movies or live movies. That's where she is. Okay. But don't they tell you in this? Isn't there like a story system? So they're kind of like, here's this new person, and you kind of get to unravel who they are. Because I think that's what Fate Grand Order does. Like, there's a lot of people who are like, who the fuck is this? But that's the whole point, is that they can inject the story in there somewhere. Axiom says, also, I'm gonna send you 5-minute videos explaining why you should watch that show. It's why it's good. Of a movie for deserves being under the radar. Okay, hit me with it, Axiom. For me though, Axiom, I will say, I have never been a person who has enjoyed like super Oscar movie kind of things. Not that I don't like. To me, I just like when things feel like they miss the point. Like it almost becomes like how do I put it? I dislike when things like when the art of it consumes the concept, perspective, or idea of it. Like when a movie's in black and white in 2012, or sorry, 2021, whatever this year is, 22. Sorry, I find I'm like, what are we doing? Is this really making it? I just can't fucking see color, my guy. I hate it. Or like when we spend 6 minutes of a person like looking at themselves in a mirror, like slowly putting on makeup. I'm like, why are we here? What is happening? I'm not getting anything out of this. And it's not that I like a lot of movies, but those, I don't know, there's something like where art kind of becomes pretentious, where I feel like it loses me quite a lot. But this probably won't be the case for that show. Carthage says, "What's good, Carthage? Oh my God, I'm awake early enough on a Sunday to catch a stream. What's good, Carthage? Carthage, I want to ask you something." In the show, sorry, I'm coming at you hard. I was waiting for you to be here one of these days, and I was going to ask you. In the show, well, first of all, have you seen the world's greatest assassin reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat? Have you read that light novel, manga, whatever? Also, Lone Syndicate says, but the game has a lot of aspects of the game. You have your story mode, and you have the chapters for each spirit. It basically follows the anime, so I know everything that happens. There are raid bosses. Ooh, okay. Dungeons. Then you have these things called clashes, where you can farm materials like XP cards, money, XTX. Then you have the virtual novel, dating sim side of the game, where most of the spirits you collect, you can take them on a date and set a location with multiple endings, in an average of 7 endings per. Golly, that sounds crazy. What do you call it? Yeah, it sounds like, you know what it sounds like, don't say? It sounds like that. Like maybe Data Live was made as a concept to be made into this kind of game. Because if you think about it, it's like, yeah, that kind of lines up really well for like gamification of a story, which is like we have dating things, we also have story pacing and arcs, we also have conflict battles kind of happening. Huh. Axiom says, the problem with using the view count as a metric for how well you are doing is that people don't necessarily always know what they want. I used to watch gaming content on YouTube before I found the very hidden world of video essays and the art analysis. Okay, yeah, I understand. So people can like hunt for what they want. Yeah. So I understand about like, don't throw in the towel because the people who are out there who may not have found you. So then I think that to me is a part of it is also, if you really want something to succeed, if you believe something does have a market or a value, like for instance, people who are like, I like talking about TV shows. I think it is on you. Yes, it's on you to create value essentially. So what you do is you go to like forums that are interested in movie blogs, and then you would put your videos there, as cringy as that might be, or as awkward as that may make you feel. So I think there's ways that, to your point, maybe it's not about looking at views, but it's about looking at how to find your audience. I think that's a part of it. And it's 1,000. It's like way easier to communicate. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, if you deeply like something, and you think that you're not the only one who likes it, then clearly it's just about finding your audience and making sure your audience can find said content. Maybe you could break into a genre that is similar to what you want to do, aka movies, and then pull people into that direction. But maybe you're probably right where like maybe you're not getting views with this kind of content, but you're like, this is good. I like this. I think people like this. I think people will like this. and then you go about doing it that way. I can see that working too. But I think to me it's still like views is just a metric for people. Views and watch time are just a metric for how good are you about creating and capturing and giving something that people genuinely want to see, outside of like creating like meme content that is like what everyone is currently creating. Like you can create something that is not what everyone's creating. In fact, you probably do better that way, but you also got to account for the fact that you're not just making this for you, because you would never. Why not just keep it for you? You know, you're making this for other people, especially if you ever have like an advertiser or like a sponsor. I feel like that kind of goes out the window of like people saying, I'm only doing this for me, here's my sponsor. I'm like, well, you didn't do it then. Or like there's a referral link. Yeah, so then and that to me it's one of those things where it's either like you live your life to buy this metric, or you kind of just you don't, or you it's yeah. To me it's weird. Like maybe you could say sometimes, again, I think it's the metric is that sometimes people have this desire to like make the most of it, to try to get an audience, get value, capture, stuff like that. But I definitely think if you want to be good at something, there's a metric on what is good. Now you could say like a person could take a bunch of drumsticks and just be bashing pots for 6 years, and he loves the sound of them pots getting smashed. And maybe there's like he can find one person in the world that's like, this is awesome, my shit, dude. Maybe, but maybe also in order to be considered good at something, or in order to create something that other people like, you should understand what other people like and then adjust that way. So I don't think you can just make whatever you want and live your best life. I think you need to account for the fact that you're creating something for something else as well. You're trying to create something that multiple people enjoy, including you. But I also understand what you're saying, Axiom, where like if you devote yourself too much to one path of like, I just want to make everyone like what I create, then what about you? Like, are you liking what you're creating? And oftentimes you can find a balance point, but you can get consumed by it, which is kind of my point about this, like the 7 deadly sins having their equilibrium essentially. Carly says, I have not seen the show or read the book. I've not heard good things about the books. Well, shit. Well, Nub read it a little bit. I was hoping that you, the devourer of books, would have read it and would have been able to tell me if my weird theory about it is panned out. But no. But apparently I'm fucking shit out of luck. Anyways, how are you, Carly? Hope you're having a lovely day. One of the things I've heard is that the main character saves a little girl from being assaulted, but lets the sick bastard go, even though they crossed one of the lines. And another is that he talks about only killing by his own code and promotely ignores his code, only ever killing a single person. Oh, I don't know. In the anime, he's fucking people up. Yeah. No, in the anime, he's killing everybody. His only code is that he doesn't want to be used as a tool. And then kind of just like kills people because he knows he has to kill this one guy. And I think eventually he's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be a tool, and doesn't do that. Yeah. But as far as him doing the, lets the evil bastard go, no, he kills everybody in the anime. Everyone dies. Everyone involved. The only thing that is a little bit fucked up in the anime that he doesn't do is in the anime, he basically doesn't like rescue all of the girls. He just rescues one of them, but he kills everybody. Everybody involved dies. Oh. I think so. Maybe he breaks their arm or something, and then no, I think they fucking die. I don't know. Maybe he does let him go. Weird. I mean, he does train them to like murder everybody, so they can kind of protect themselves. Well, it's not really. He protects one of them, and then the one girl is smart and basically makes it so everyone's like can be okay. So yeah. Lozigan says also, what's up, Carthage? What's up, Lozigan? Axiom says the YouTube algorithm can control what people like to watch way more than people think it does, which is why I say as far away as possible from it, using YouTube search and word of mouth to find various videos nowadays. Yeah, but to me, I understand what you're saying, Axiom. I understand what you're saying. At the same time, though, part of me is thinking like, if you go by word of mouth and if you go by search, both of these are contributors for other people being affected by the algorithm. So you're still going off like, as long as it's still infecting other people, you're passively you've taken steps away, so you're less susceptible. But I still think you're getting pulled in ways a little bit. But maybe not. But maybe not. Carthage says, I've seen a book on Amazon store. Even if I hadn't heard bad things about it, it doesn't seem like my kind of stuff. Yeah, no, that's fair. It's fair. Yeah. I was basically, you were the person who I immediately think of who reads all kinds of books and is also the idea of it's kind of insane. So I was like, maybe this is Carthage's thing. Not as crazy as normal, so I understand why it's not your thing. Also, what's good? Fan said. Stefan says, algorithms are the same everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, etc. Not necessarily everywhere, man. Apparently people are real fucking trying to crack the code on TikTok. Everyone's like commending TikTok's algorithm for like, eventually, it'll start hitting, basically. You'll give it enough info where it's like, I know exactly what you want in the way that you want it. And apparently Google and Google, Twitter, and all these people are like trying to find out what the fuck they're doing because they want it, because it's super addictive. Not only because of short form content, but because of the algorithm is like perfectly able to give. And I've heard this from everybody. I've heard this from, I've seen a video about Jacksepticeye in passing. I've seen PewDiePie talk about this. I've seen like every podcast I've ever seen talk about like the crazy algorithm of TikTok eventually like hitting the mark with you and knowing exactly what you want, which is crazy. So yeah, but yes, I agree. Largely, algorithms be the same. It's a viewer attention essentially. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to use the washroom like you would not believe. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment. I'm back. Oh, I'm back. Oh, my body. Oh, also, damn it. This shirt is like, I blend in, kind of. Not quite, but a little bit. Enough. Carter says, I've been consumed by different series for a little more than a week now, called Beneath the Dragon Moon. It's super good. Hit me with it. Fluff says, the algorithm has also corrupted YouTube search. The amount of time I search for something specific, and it simply shows me stuff from my subfeed or that I've already watched. Unrelated otherwise, it's something I've simply lost count of. I think I just have such I think I don't get that, Fluff, because I'm subscribed to like fucking, I think, 2,000 channels. And if that's where like the filtering argument, I'm like, I don't know. Okay. You go through a lot of phases. You're really into making masks. You subscribe to a lot of channels. Hey, you subscribe to 2,000 channels. Maybe 3,000 at this point. It's also like a show of like good spirit or something. Takara says TikTok has a little too hard TikTok hits a little too hard sometimes. Really. Once again says, then there are also things called favor, which is how I can explain it. I think it's a friendship level. Okay, from Genshin, got you. But like spending time with each respective girl, well, most of the time, don't get that. But moving along, as you level up your favor, you're not only you get better at understanding of these characters, like classic dating sim things, gotcha, but you do it to access my vision's going blurry. What seems to be this long date that goes over 5 chapters. Golly. For example, animated. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So it seems like you just basically unlocked a big old like story quest with much favor or friendship. Gotcha. I like how the show is like, no. We're not playing the friendship game here, all right, fam. We're in it. We're in it. Stop it. Okay. A card that says hydrate, convenient. We're about to do that. Axiom says, even though I created a new account and have literally never watched anything other than the video essays on this YouTube account, the YouTube algorithm keeps giving me random education and gaming bullshit content that I don't want. Yeah, man. That's how it be, Axiom. That's how it is. That is because it's not even your account, my guy. It's your server. It's it's advertising essentially. YouTube has the same advertising algorithm. Like if someone in your house was really searching for fucking camera parts, you're gonna get that in Amazon. Like same thing is gonna happen for YouTube. Now, granted, if you have a YouTube account, then it can tell, okay, this is the kid, and that's the dad. So the dad wants camera stuff. The kid, like the algorithm will eventually figure out who it is that's doing it, and then basically ping off of that. But yeah, I don't think you can hide it. You can't hide from it, you know. Here we go. A hydrate completed. Ugh, so not good. That's very good. Lone Syndicate says, Data Live felt like it understood that the characters better respond/date. My only complaint is that some girls don't get as many dates as the others. Krumi, the goth girl, and the series, including you. Okay, yeah. They each have 3 dates. Yeah, that's how it always is, man. In all the games, like sometimes there's like a quest line that is just dense, and then other times they're like, yeah, we ran out of time. We ran out of time. She's kind of like, and yeah, or they're like, she's part of the story, so her sequencing of friendship, whatever, companion quest is a part of it. So it's like, what? It's like half there. It's like we're doing a story quest, and she's like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And we're like, okay. Weird. Axiom says, Fluff, only a certain part of the YouTube search is based off of algorithm. It will say something like people also watch or something stupid like that. You just need to figure out which part are algorithms and which part are... Actually, this is where I'd push back the most on this. I think it's so not true. I think it's not even about that. It's about your server. They can tell, like, if ads can do it, why wouldn't Google be able to do it through search things? And I've noticed that. I got a lot of camera stuff that pops into my thing, and I'm not into photography. My dad is head over heels in love with photography. We're on the same internet box. So yeah, YouTube search is really stupid, but it works. Yeah, I know. To me, I just think if there's ever the perspective of like, I'm not getting algorithmed, you are. I don't mean to be. I feel so strongly about this, where you are in some ways. In some ways, you are. I don't think you can disconnect. Even if you literally sign out of YouTube and you're just on baseline YouTube, I still think you'll eventually get hit. Maybe for the first 10 minutes they won't show you stuff just to be like, see, and then they'll be like, hey, by the way, here's some stuff. A card that says, Dragon Moon's story, or Dragon Eyes Moon's story, is about a girl from Earth who died, and whose soul did not enter the normal reincarnation system, and was found by a different world god of change. The god offers her a choice of being put into the cycle. Cycle to continue normally, or he can put her in his world, and she can keep most, but not all, of her memories, so that her knowledge doesn't fuck up her new home. What the fun in that? That's kind of I mean, yeah, it seems interesting, but I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Come on, God, work with me. What memories you taking? That's the whole point. It's like, hey, can I keep my memories? Can I keep the ones that teach me how to like make a bomb or like create some sort of like tent or something? Oh, I just pulled something in my neck. Ah. I need to do my stretches, man. I haven't done my stretches in such a long time. Oh. I don't know how to make a bomb. It was a thought that came to mind. Axiom says GRINN. The YouTube algorithm is only based off of your video history. If you clear it, you get exactly the Axiom. This may be the first time where we genuinely just have to disagree to disagree kind of thing, because I 100% disagree with this. Yeah, based on all my knowledge about the algorithm, it's just not the case. Same thing with Amazon's algorithm, same thing with Google's algorithm, all these things. Like same thing with cookies. If you're not, unless you isolate cookies, then maybe. But cookies are the thing that keeps they're like, that's the way people advertise to you. So maybe you're right. I would bet on my horse though. So that's why we may want to disagree because I don't think we're going to get anywhere from here. Stefan says, YouTube search seems to weight content by recent post. I can think that's true, which can be good or bad. Sometimes it's hard to find stuff posted a while back. Yeah, I mean, I always find that YouTube search goes by like what I think it's a mixture of what they think you would want, but also what time a little bit. But I also find that it's not like I think it's the time is about like 2 years. It usually seems 2 years and specificity based on relevance of what you just said. You know, but I've never. Have you guys ever searched something into YouTube that wasn't hyper specific, like how to do blank or something, or build, or like Wonderland's, fucking spell shot build, like stuff like that. I've never searched in something like funny videos or like shows that are fun to watch or so. I've never done that. Not that broad, But I'd also say I think search results are also based on watch time, because I know that's like the biggest metric on YouTube is how long, if people were able to watch the full video. Axiom says, I have no idea why Google has chosen to only frame the algorithm on your YouTube search history and watch history, but that's how it works for some reason. Unless you're working for Google Axiom, this is where I also feel a little weird with it. Yeah, again, my perspective of it, knowing my understanding of having experienced the algorithm and also having heard a lot about YouTube analytics, stuff like that. Search histories, like search engines, value, watch time, all of these things, I think are relevant to the thing. But yeah, but maybe you're right. Again, to me, I'm not willing to die on this hill, but I'd be willing for, if I had to choose, I'd die on my hill. But again, that's not to say that your hill's wrong. It's just to say that for me, based on all the podcasts and passive knowledge that I've been given throughout the time that I've been on YouTube, which I've been on YouTube ever since I was 9, that's where I would go. Also, just knowing how the company works. Like, people like to think that, like, hey, again, there's a reason why everything asks you for cookies. If it was like the only thing that was useful to the thing, then sure. But I don't know if that's true. I think there may be like ways to make it seem like it's not, but yeah. Otherwise, why wouldn't companies show you what exactly? Also, the algorithm of YouTube is not like, that's something that everybody in the world wants to know. Like, that's something that YouTubers are pissed about constantly. So to say that the algorithm is the same thing as search, I think. So to me, that's where I would be like in a weird spot where like I would this is such a coveted thing. How do you know it's working that way? Carlos says on the world, which has 2 moons that look like eyes of a massive dragon. Dope. Every living thing has a system. Weird. But only the Sentinel race gets to have limited control of it. Okay. A regular animal has a system, but doesn't get to choose a class the way humans do. But the system does unlock for a person until they're old enough, which is around 8. Okay, so you get to choose your proficiency and shit. Neat. Also, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow there's gonna be a blood moon or something in Canada, so I can't wait to miss that. Anyway, just popped in my head. Love says, nowadays, first result is a YouTube search is always an ad, similar to Google search, followed by some actually related videos to the search term. Then it starts showing the video, showing my videos I've either already watched or found my sub feed. Watching the search team, a nice that could give a sub search feed. Oh, maybe I don't get the ads, man. I'm wondering it's because I have YouTube Premium. I wonder if that's why I'm getting all fucked up. Because I have YouTube Premium, so maybe I don't see those ads. Because I've never had it where it doesn't just immediately give me what I'm like looking for, you know, like it's but also, do you guys have it like keyed in? Because you have like a filtering system on the search engine block itself. So I wonder if because there's like relevance, there's view count, and there's all these other things. I'm always going by relevance, but I'm assuming that's what Fluff's also going by because that's by default, I think. No, it says, and the next aspect I want to talk to you about is the endless corridor. Which is like a spiral abyss with 100 floors. God damn! But instead of the time limitation, you have to beat to get a number. Oh, I see. So this is based on number, and you get stars based on that amount. After you kill floors, feels you get a lot more time to need that at the end of every 2 days. You can get a special currency. That you can spend in the shop and buy things for your character. Oh, that's nice. Okay, yeah, so it's like a spiral abyss type of. Gotcha. And also, instead of a time base, it's like just rounds and a star rating. Gotcha. I like that a lot more than the time thing, man. I hate being rushed. Granted, it still seems like it's a different kind of rushed. Let's see, it says, yes, I have searched things like that many times. What things? What things? Oh, you mean like just like funny video or something like that? Really? Yeah, maybe it's just because I kind of trust in my suggestion feed, even though it misses a lot of time. That's kind of where I go. But also, I'm very much in like, I'm a part of communities that find other communities in a way, you know, like the streamer kind of stuff, where they're like, hey, let's watch this funny video, you know, and they do a kind of curation for me. Axiom says, I just opened a new YouTube account and I got completely different things from what I watch or what was advertised to me. A lot of sports and virtual videos. Yeah, no, I made 2 new channels and I got a lot of makeup blog stuff. But I think if I were to continue like on with that account, I think eventually I would get gaming stuff. And that's kind of the same thing that you were just saying, right? Like you were saying that even though you're you're just doing stuff, you're getting a lot of gaming stuff and something else. You said some gaming stuff and something else popping up in your search feed, even though you're not searching for it or something, or not watching it or don't want it. Educational videos and gaming videos, you said. Yeah. But also, I think it's a little anecdotal. I think if I was YouTube, I would build that into the algorithm. I would build in the algorithm that it pretends that it doesn't know what you want, then later implements the cookies that it sees that you have on your account. Fluff says that'd be a part of it. Premium stops ads. That's true. It is. Yeah, right. I still have ad block, but it's just to not fucking have to. Yeah, that's just for everything else online. Axiom says there are also 2 different YouTube algorithms, so try to remember everything I know about them is hard. There are two different YouTube algorithms. Yeah, Axiom. The thing that like is throwing me for a loop. How do you know this? Because I've known people who have dedicated their predominant life about how to find out the algorithms of YouTube, and they're not even close. So that's where I'm a little lost. So I'm like, how do you know these things? I want to trust you. You've never led me astray, but this seems like crazy. Like, unless you're working for Google or something, I'm lost. But it feels like you're going based on your own experience. And that's the way you pretext it, but I don't know if your experience is the way, like, if you know, you can say, I know the algorithm, I know how the algorithm works, or I know how the search engine works. Yeah, because I just know people who've dedicated like their whole YouTube career to like making dents at that, and they're kind of close sometimes, and other times they seem like they're way off. Carla says, The elemental system is awesome, in my opinion. You've got the basic elements of fire, earth, and water: metal, wood, light, dark wood, or dark. Sorry, dark wood. Weird. But there are advanced elements that are basically combinations of the basic elements: fire and wood. Did I read right? Wood? What the fuck is wood? It's such a specific power thing. It makes sense. It's still weird. Okay, so fire and wood makes ash. Ooh, dude, I think smoke and ash would be such a fun, weird power thing. Like, in the second sun, that's like such a cool idea. Fire makes inferno. Fire and fire makes inferno. Weird. Light and dark makes constellation. Oh, that's neat. This is stars in the sky. Light and fire makes radiance, sorry. I like it a lot. This is actually really cool. I like the weird harmonization of two different types of elements. Dope. It's really good. It sounds awesome. Fluff says, even guest accounts gradually adjust what video it recommends based on your watch history. But I killed my watch history. I've stopped. I paused my watch history years ago, and it still hits. It fucking hits the mark. Lone Seneca says, last thing I wanted to gush about is the character leveling. So you're really enjoying it. A leveling system called BP. Think of it as a specialized overall power and /strength. Although you have a character's base level and character's max level 80, when you have a crystal, a tree where you use materials, you level up the character and base stats, the attack power, defense, HP, etc. When you have these, it's called Seraph. Is that right? Serapha. Think of this as an artifact in Genshin Impact, and a 555 is a lot less RNG involved. Next. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, it's basically you're really digging the leveling system, very akin to the artifact system, except better. Got it. Fluff says, since majority of what habits are VTuber channels and clips and such, I'll throw that into recommendations for you section of YouTube search results, despite not searching for that specifically. Okay, yeah. Axiom says, I have a friend who works at Google, and he has a friend who works at YouTube. And I did a ton of experience testing to try and find as many videos, essays as possible due to how hard they are to find. Okay, at least I have some faith in that. So you're saying they're separate. Okay. So you're saying that the search is based on history. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like just knowing that like Amazon and companies, it seems such a weird thing to like have this utility set that is for advertisers, but then and also they're like YouTube is fully in the game of attention span harnessing. So the fact that they wouldn't stack the deck in search results to be stuff that you would engage with positively, utilizing your algorithm essentially that they learned from you in the past, it's weird to me to see them turn that off. I don't know the logic behind that action, but you might be 100% right, especially if you have people who have telling you this. I just don't know if they would know. I don't even know if because I feel like how coveted the algorithm of XYZ search engine or search thing, knowing that that's still not really cracked, to me, I think even people at Google don't know. Like 90% of the people on Google wouldn't know what the algorithm and search engine would be generally, I think everyone has a really good inference and good guess based on experience testing and stuff like that. I think everyone is close to like their idea of the YouTube algorithm. I just don't know if everyone's completely nailed it, Also, I don't know. I don't really care. This is the other thing. I'm the search engine debate. I kind of just, to me it's whatever. It doesn't help me or hinder me. I feel nothing towards the search engine probability, whether it's based on history. To me this is like one of those things where I'm like, who is what it is. To me, based on all of my previous experience and like podcast listening and hearing about how everyone's trying to find the key to the algorithm to know exactly what to do and how to do it in order to get the best bang for your buck, it seems like it's kind of varied. Yeah. But Stefan says, I notice when you post content on YouTube, it doesn't affect your search result as much as what you search. I think similar content to what you post would be weighted heavily. Yeah, I can see that. So you're saying that like posting YouTube content doesn't affect the search results as much as you would search. I think similar content for me, I think this is just my, like, everyone has their inference of it. I think it's based on so say if you search, I think it's all based on like an AI. I think the AI is smarter than that people would give it credit for. I think it literally, if you search for funny video or if you search for how to make a build and you watch a video, and YouTube, the algorithm can see that you're watching 5 minutes of the video of a 20-minute video, and you click off, and then you never engage with any other video, the algorithm says, not worth it. Whereas if you watch a video that you search for, and you watch the entirety of that video, maybe even have a great amount of watch time, that signals to the AI algorithm that's like, oh, okay, no, not only did you search for this, but what you got out of it was enough to keep your attention for an amount of time that would be worthy of us investing in making you see more of this. The AI is trying to keep you on the platform for longer, and it's trying to provide you a service, but it's also trying to provide itself a service, which is your attention for longer periods of time, because that's the value, because advertisers are the value. So that's my sense of thing. The YouTube algorithm makes sense when you think of it as that. Its main objective is to try to get you to watch for as long as possible, so what are the ways in which it would do that? But that's my guess. Only cares about you, what you have done on this site before on the account. So if you have a new account with a new history, you essentially got a ton of random content of all its kind to see you like. I shouldn't care about anything else as far as I know. There is a lot of things that can be measured on the site though, such as average viewer duration, average percentage viewed, dislikes, likes, viewership surveys, click-through rate, and I have no idea what algorithm does with that info. I don't even remember how we started talking. Yeah, me neither. Actually, that's why I took a pause. Where I was like, I don't know. I think we were talking about like viewership and like how people can get like sucked down that pathway, and then you were getting frustrated by there being basically you're like the search engine sucked ass. Basically, search action. If the Fluff brought up the search engine sucks ass, he always gets random bullshit ads and also stuff that he's already watched. And I think you jumped on and were like, well, it's because of your base history, and then we got into the weeds. Get into the weeds of it. Lone Syndicate says, also I gotta drink my coffee, dude. I've got plenty of time. Lone Syndicate says, is the angel, which is like a girl power and can. And her guys, my vision is blurring, by the way, really badly here. I think I'm dehydrated. Her, you can unlock the levels of basic attack skills for each girl's normal. Get 3 skills, then you have a bond, which this is. Goddamn, there's a lot of bars thrown up. They got you hooked on them bars, Lone Syndicate. You got bond, you got favor, or favor, yeah, favor. You got these like skill point stuff. Which is where they things feed into each other. End date you go on, in case of the thing, endings for the said date you get. This is called the keepsake. Gotcha. And things keepsake you can equip on the character. They will boost the character's stats. Lastly, gems. Each character can equip 4 gems. And then add more damage to each type of skill. Gotcha. All right. Sounds like. All this can be condensed to like they got a badass bond system. It seems like Lone Syndicate with the large picture here. What you're saying is just that a lot of the systems that you've seen through dating sims, you've seen within Genshin of like artifacts and like build creation, are just done better in this way. Or like there's multiple different bars that are filling up. There's multiple different like a character health bars that you're messing with. There's multiple different value to like invest in and going on like the dating sim aspect of the game, because it feeds into your character's overall damage because you get a trinket after the end of it. It sounds awesome. Sounds like a very good game. If only that game, Lone Syndicate, if this game could exist, but it be like in a Genshin type world with less fucking nightmare hell shit of like polls and shit, or just less like RNG nightmare hell of gotcha. That would be great. I think that would kill. Like, I think that's the thing, is like people make a gacha game, but I feel like if you just made a gacha game that wasn't as gacha-y, I still think it would not only have its own like thing, because it's not as nightmarish to get characters that look awesome, to play with those characters, to have fun investment probability. You'd still probably, yeah, like I feel like the next gacha game either, well, I don't even know. I think gacha games, especially in the West, are like just so addictive and interesting and different. As long as they do something that people are interested in, whether it's like steampunk or like, you know, whatever, cyberpunk kind of futuresque stuff, which is what Mihoyo is kind of seemingly doing, I think people will gravitate to it. But I also think that there's like a good opportunity to do what essentially Genshin did, but just less. That's what I think Tower of Fantasy is doing. Tower of Fantasy, Jesus Christ, Tower of Fantasy seems to be doing like cutting their gain, so they're not gaining as much monetary incentive because there's more pity on both types of banners. There's a ton of like you know, side quests and like random repeatable quests to do. So I think that's, and also there doesn't seem to be any level like resin cap. So to me, that seems to be the sequence. They're like trying to be like, hey, our game is doing the things that game refuses to do. Play our game, you know, and then maybe they'll go back. That probably isn't the case, but who knows? Axiom says the way that YouTube search and suggest video page works differently though. So I don't know. Yeah, man. It's, to me, I've heard that like this whole thing coveted for such a long time. The YouTube algorithm, where so many people are like trying to figure it out, and the only people that I think have actually gotten like really close is it's like these people that work for they're one of their best one of their people that was a part of this kind of like organization was Mr. Beast, and apparently I heard it in passing, but like they were like, Mr. Beast was basically a part of a, right when he was just starting out, was part of like this weird Discord messaging group, and for like months on end, they would literally just test everything on YouTube just to find out how the engine worked, so that they would test like a thumbnail, and they would upload like 5 different types of thumbnails, and with different types of faces, like different types of editing on that thumbnail, and they would see what gets the most engagement. And I think they would do like advertiser pushes or something, some sort of way to make it so that people would engage with the video in some way, and then they would aggregate all of those data points together to find out what was the video that got the most views based on the thumbnail. Then they would do data points based on what was the time of the video that was like the soft cap for overall their concepts. What was the percentage of time of watch time that you needed to get if there was a detonation point. So if like it's based on a percentage, or is it based on like a percentage cap? So if somebody's able to watch 60% of your video, does that thing get detonated as that's good enough? Hey, did people search for this? That's good. Did people watch this? Majority of it, sure, yes, boom. This is now highly high value video, essentially. So they would just do that all day for I think 4 months. And one of the guys who is making all these books now, which actually seem really good, one of them is called like the YouTube what is it called? The YouTube system or something like that, but it's like basically the systemication of like creating content on YouTube based on not only the algorithm but also just making content that is valuable to others. I want to read that book. That's probably the next book I'm reading. Yeah, probably the next book I'm reading. But gotta get through this damn influence book. Golly. Oh. Lone Syndicate says, all right, I'm done. Oh, wait. Also, apparently, the game is also getting a remaster called Data Live Spirit Pledge HD, and I've been getting ads for it non-stop. Okay, but it's still not like a Genshin-y kind of game, right? Lone Syndicate, do you think the game that you're playing currently, do you think that could exist within a first-person perspective kind of game? I don't know. I feel like the anime has found this weird like disembodied dude with like long hair who looks schlubby a little bit as like our like husk to inhabit. To where I feel like again, a lot of like the cutesy dumb dating sim things, if you were literally looking at like a 3D model of a character and them do weird shit, you'd be like, this is a little too much. I don't know. I would love that though. I think it'd be fun. Also, I think there's so many versions of that game that I think people would do well. I just don't know if any company has the balls to make it. You know. But I mean, if you think about it, if I were to sell you like the idea of like, what if we had, like an anime game with like pulling with different character types that you could hunt for, get, and build friendship with, and it was also in an open world Zelda-like game. So think Zelda, and think like anime variability of like different characters, different combat styles of each character. The ability to use multiple characters at once, but it's not quite like, you know, Final Fantasy where you're kind of switching between the characters and it's complicated and you're kind of like setting up a bunch of abilities. No, it's literally just switch them, you can melee with them, you can cast some abilities, it's done, it's satisfying, you have a whole open world to explore. I feel like people would be like, yeah, that would work. You know, I feel like a lot of people would be like, that would work, but then no company actually makes it, you know? And if it is, it's like a fucking, it's like a startup, you know, a company's like, fuck it, we gotta survive. My vision was getting blurry. I had to fucking drink water. Lone Syndicate says, honestly, I also wish I was like, I wish it was like Genshin sort of game, instead of a mobile game. It also does a bunch of collabs with other series. Like it's wrong to put pick up girls in Dungeon. And really, man, I don't know if I want to corrupt how to pick up girls in a dungeon / Dimanche, because it's just, I don't know why, man. That was one of those shows that I wish I would have, like, you know, I talked about my favorite shows in anime a while ago, like the ones that I think are just the fucking bangers. That was one that I found just awesome. Like, it was just such a show that it still is just, there's certain shows that have this, like, it's like this like warmth, this like coziness, this like harmony, I guess is a good way to put it. And that's very much season 1 and a little good bit of the other seasons too of Dimanche. I find that show is just so nice, especially watching Belle like take down the Minotaur and shit. Like I don't know if I want to get this like waifu weird like gamification of this world. I kind of like it as just this nice thing. But maybe if I got into it, I'd be like, no, this is dope, you know. Lone Syndicate says, next, moving on to anime. First of all, Lone Syndicate, have you seen the King Ranker show? I feel like you're like me. You've seen it in passing, was like, that looks cool, I'll add it to the list, but it's not above the 50 other ones I've watched, you know? And move on to anime. I found an anime you described to me, Grin. The one with a lot of waifus where you refuse, referring to the anime called Great Demon Lord is Reborn. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Fluff says, Fire Emblem Heroes just makes the player's avatar a hooded and robber guy with a shadow, non-visible eyes. Calling, yeah, exactly. There's a type for sure. There's a type, but there's also, it's always like, there's variability here. Also, man, it's one of the things that, like, to me, I kind of liked about the assassination show, or the assassination, not assassination, the Hitman Reborn, whatever the fuck, Born in Another World, that one. There is something that's like kind of a little bit like, fuck you, a little bit. Whenever I watch certain shows that are like, the main character is literally nothing, or he's awful, he's just the worst. I remember watching, what is it called, Sekirei way back in the day. Don't judge me. Okay, stop it. But the main character is literally nothing besides like maybe a kind person. He's useless, he's schlubby, he doesn't take care of himself, he does nothing besides is kind of nice, and everyone's like, I love you so much. And yeah, and it's just like, Jesus. And I like when a character is actually like, hey, that person's very good at communicating. look at that. Like, one of my favorite parts about DMache, talking about that show, Bell in the first like 2 minutes, which I love. In the first 2 minutes, he talks to like Aina, this adventurer's assistant person, and he leaves. And how he leaves, I'll never forget it. He says, "I love you, Miss Aina, bye," and just trucks off. Who the fuck does that? That's like the most fucking wholesome, akin with his emotions, like understanding his emotions. Doesn't fucking like hide it in bullshit. Just is like, no, this person's awesome. I love them. They're like a sister figure for me. Love you. And then he runs off, and it's just like bang. And there's so many other moments in that show where Bell is himself, just like no, if you're kind of a shitty schmuck, he's better than you. He's better than you. Need to get the fuck. You need to get good. Okay. Lone Syndicate says the game you are describing, Grin, sounds like a blast, but like you said, no one is willing to give it a shot. I know, man. Gah! Yeah. I hope those games can exist though, because like again, what was the game we got currently that was, what do you call it though? Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I never would have thought, and it's not really there still, but I never would have thought I would ever be able to play the summoner / the overlord kind of character in any video game, because it's not a thing. The idea of like having summons where you can sit back and just chill as like the world gets eviscerated around you because you just invested in like good boys, whether it's puppies, whether it's skags, whatever. Granted, Gearbox has had like 5 games to do this, and they finally hit the mark, and I'm worried they're gonna nerf it immediately, which is pain. Lone Ticket says, I have still yet to get into that anime. I watched like episode 1. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of a slower show, but I feel like I haven't watched a show that's kind of meant to fuck you up. You know what I mean? It's been a while since I've cried. I feel my tear ducts kind of like on the precipice. I'm ready to break. You know? What's good, superhero? Sorry, I seen superhero pop in a minute ago. I just didn't say I was talking. Hi, buddy. How are you? Lone Ticket says, wait. What's the name of the show? I didn't catch that. Would you mind repeating? It's called King Rankers. And it's got like a little tiny baby-like person who is wearing a crown. Think of like the kind of wholesome yet horrifying nature of like March comes in like a lion or a silent voice. Apparently it has that levels of feels in it, but I think it all works out. So yes, it's not like a Your Lie in April, which is meant to absolutely murder you and leave you dead. So, fuck that. But not that. It's called King Rankers. Unless I'm mistaken, I think that's what it's called. Axiom says, by the way, I'm starting to get into watching anime. Hell yeah, baby. Looking for anime recommendations. What kind of animes do you like beforehand? Axiom, hit me with what kind of shows are you into? Are you into like some Game of Thrones shit? Do you like seeing people do you like stakes? Or do you like cool concepts and ideas? Do you like seeing characters' growth? Let me know about it. I'll throw them at you. The problem is that every time I've asked someone, they give me very random shows that aren't very good, but they still like, yeah, man, like fucking, hey, watch One Piece, or hey, watch fucking Bleach or something, which are both great shows, but they're not the fucking show you start watching anime for. It's fucking a huge buy-in. It's kind of weird. It's like, it's the anime for the anime lovers, with exception to maybe Dark, what is it called? Full Metal Alchemist Dark Brother. That one seems to be like good for everybody, but it still wouldn't be the one I would give people. Axiom says the only anime I've watched at this point is Cowboy Bebop and down. Okay. Well then, this is right. What kind of shows do you like? Do you like Game of Thrones kind of shows, Axiom? Do you like the Marvel's Avengers kind of shows? Do you like shows that kind of have do you like a time period? Do you like some like gangster shit, mobster shit? Do you like some fantasy world stuff? Do you like D&D? Give me something. Give me something. Do you like World of Warcraft as a video game? Axiom says the only show that I know I want to watch is Neo Genesis and Evangelion, a series experiment. Okay, Seems like you like those like shows, like shows that are meant to like have a lot of they're like meant to be super long-winded, kind of complex. Lone Syndicate says, I might watch one episode of the typical noble just to test and see how it is. I watched a video of Should You Watch It by this YouTuber I get most of my anime news from, and he said it's good. It's like a filler anime. A typical noble. What's that? What's that? Okay. Superhero says, I'm doing great. Love to hear a superhero. What's currently happening in your life? What game you playing? What show you watching? Lone Syndicate says, you mean Ranker? That's the cast, the Ranker of Kings. I said it. Come on. You son of a bitch. Yeah, that's right. It makes more sense now that you said it. I've seen it, but it doesn't look like something I'd... Yeah, that's fair too. Yeah. Fluff says, I like steaks. Baby steaks? Maybe? Oh, what is it? You like steaks, says Fluff. Is there an anime specifically? You should watch Food Wars. Gotcha. Boom. Last thing it says, do you like Harada or fan? I would wager not. I would wager probably not. Even Galleon and Cowboy Bebop were his examples. Ugh. I don't know if those are akin. I think he'd probably. I would probably put in that he probably doesn't care. What genre of shows you? Yeah, everyone's like, come on, let me make a good estimate. I want to give you just shows that are just fun, you know. Stefan says, gotta have some comedy in it for me. How do you like comedy or do you like weirdness? Because I got one that's weird. I'm not sure. What was the last anime I watched that was funny? To me, the one that like really stands out as like a comedy anime was The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. It's like fucking hilarious. I think it's such a weird, dry, like freakish humor. So good. Other than that, I think there's thousands, but I can't think of them right now. Axiom says, what I want from a show right now is my life is something that is more artistic. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to describe artistic a bit. No, I got you. I would say March Comes in Like a Lion. I think March Comes in Like a Lion is it's a beautiful show, and it's probably the most akin I would ever suggest is that is very artsy. The premise though, it's not exactly, it shouldn't be interesting, but it is, and it's beautiful. And it's very artistic. It's very methodical for the world and the pain of life as well. But it's also beautiful. I would say that one. March Comes in Like a Lion. I think it's about to leave Netflix, so if you have that, quickly go watch it. But the premise is it's about a shogi player, which is like a very complicated version of chess, let's say. It's a very bad way to phrase it, but sure. And yeah, you're going through this person's life who is basically trying to become the best at this game. And it's such a bad sell, but it's such a... to me, that's the epitome of art, I find, is when something can be so simplistic, but yet done in such a way that makes it breathtaking. And yeah, that would be what I would say. I would say that one show, I think, definitely is akin to something like art. It's also very long. It's got 2 seasons, 24 episodes a season. It's not very action-packed, so if that's what you're looking for, then you're not going to get it there. It's very artsy, but it was not very like exciting. But no good words for it. No, I think that word, that's the one that comes to mind for me at least. But yeah. Fluff says, I would test. I was testing since you asked, do you like steaks? Did I say steaks? Oh, I did say steak. Do you like steaks and shows? Oh shit. Bitch is gonna die. Not like actual food. God damn you. Lone Syndicate says, no, Grin. The typical nobody is as the greatest. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I feel the same way about the other show though, Alone Syndicate. It's like I feel like every was the hero or is the Demon King reincarnated or like reborn. I feel like I have never seen one of those shows that is not like just a good filler show. It's never like the best. It's never like the most amazing thing ever. It's never bad. It's usually just like, this is just fun. Kind of brainless, a little soulless, but fun. Define says weird comedy like Excel Saga. I was gonna say the weird comedy. So I think it fits that, but I would also say that the weirdest comedy that I've seen, that's just the weirdest show, is the zombie one. Lone Syndicate, what I'm talking about is Lone Syndicate. Tell him it's like some sort of zombie show. A necromancer reborn me as some fucking, he knows what it is. It's a zombie in a tutu. The Lone Syndicate's got me. I'm gonna fucking throw up. So we got like burps and shit happening. Axiom says, what I want from a show is oh no, I read that. Axiom says, I want a show that reveals some trash about the world or media in general, something that can be improved. Something can improve me as a person, and or something that can be used to make literal links to. Yeah, no, I think March Comes in Like a Lion is great for that. Everything you described, that is literally the show. Yeah, is the person like going through yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I would say that one actually. That would be my suggestion for someone who wants something that's a little more serious, but also has life lessons. But it's also kind of complicated because like anime is a place where you find a lot in a lot of different ways, I guess. What I mean by that is, like, for instance, like it's hard to find a show that is just artsy. It's usually artsy and like, you know, a comedy, or it's artsy and it's like it's got booba, you know, or it's artsy. It's got this beautiful stylization, these wisdom words, this like very plain as day cruelty of the world shown and stuff like that. Yeah, but then there's also one that like I find a lot of like philosophy in it that I think is awesome, but it's like the realist king born as the realist hero is what it's called. But that one has a lot of philosophy, especially in season 2. That to me is very interesting about the reality of the world and like the suffering that a person needs to be able to bear with and things like that. But yeah. Fluff says, if you want weird FLCL and or panty and stocking with GRINN, but yeah, those are also great ones. I've heard of panty and stocking for a while, but yeah. The latter being from being the same mind as the creator of Evangelion. Okay, this is that. Yeah, I'm not a big. Oh, also another one that's very much like that is Code Geass. Code Geass is also another one that's very artsy and very like here's the fucked up reality of the world and war and strategy and. But yeah, I would say that one's another one. My suggestions are March Comes in Like a Lion and Code Geass. I gotta use the washroom. That's why I'm walking away. I'm back. Ooh, it's a little chilly in here. I spent the whole day in a hot shop, but now I'm a little bit. My body's still fighting me. Axiom says truth typo. Oh, okay, gotcha. What was that? Was referring to truth as the. Okay. It says, "Oh, I got you, Grim. The anime is called. The anime you're referring to is this. Is this a zombie? That's what it is. Thank you, Lone Syndicate." Also, yeah, Stefan says, that sounds fun. Zombie in a two. No, dude, the premise of the show, Stefan, is literally the guy gets killed, all right? Gets brought back to life by a necromancer. Now he's kind of her caretaker. She's pretty chill, frankly. But he also somehow gets in the ropes with this magical girl, in which he somehow, some way, takes her power. So now we have this unkillable, undying zombie who now has the magical girl powers. And he is over it. It's not like it's like I want to die. I hate my life. What's happening to me? Oh, God. And then, throughout the course of basically having to now take the mantle of this fucking girl's magical girl, list of things to do, he eventually meets a fucking vampire. The vampire, it's kind of like a really awkward, freakish harem, but also not. It's more like he becomes surrogate. What is it called? The kind of like person who watches the house. I don't know. Caretaker, maybe? Sure. Yeah. And it's just a lot of hilarity ensues. A lot of like dick out all the time. Also, yeah, it's good. Solid show. Wish it was more seasons in it, but it's not. So sad. But it's got 2 seasons. They're both very funny. Yeah. Fluff says, as for anime movies, a silent voice. Very good reply, Fluff. I agree. Silent voice is fan-fucking-tastic. What's another one that I've seen recently that people always talk about that's fucking great? It's the one that like people, there's a man and a woman, or a boy and a girl, I should say, little red thread. I think they go back and forth, their bodies, something. That's also one that people talk about as like a very good like philosophy kind of artsy, beautiful movie. Lone Singer says, also Grin, anime that I have watched that I think you'd like is called Skeleton. Dude, I've been seeing it. It looks so fucking clean, dude. It looks great. Yeah, no, I've seen it, Lone Syndicate. My brother was telling me about it. My brother was like, it's so good. Have you checked out the witch one, Lone Syndicate? The one that's like it's some witch. It also has a really obvious name. So, yeah. But it's a witch one. I think it should be on like the front list of some stuff. But that one also I think you might like, because it's like the main dude I think is like, well, I'm not sure if you like. I think you'd like it. I think I would like it. I think we like the same things. So yeah. A Skeleton Knight is another world, is an isekai that the main character is just, yeah, man, it seems dope. It seems like kind of like people made the meme of like, this is what happened to Overlord when he was sick and tired of being a bad guy. He basically reincarnated again. This time as a good old skeleton. Gurren Lagann as well. All right, let's calm down. Fucking, what's it called? Goddamn Nub told us that is an ass beating. That is just here's a big old cup of sadness and sit with it for a while. But maybe Axiom wants that. Maybe Axiom's like, no, I'm fine with him. Bad ending. Or a sad ending, I should say. Somber ending, maybe. Not as quite sad, but a little bit bad. Axiom says, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I've watched a lot of Ghibli films. I do really like those. Yeah, cool. Everyone likes Ghibli films though. That's not helpful at all. It's just like, yeah, fucking, of course. Yeah, what? I was like finding someone who doesn't like The Office or Friends. You're like, goddamn, what? Stefan says, I have the ramen box. I have the ramen box set. It's hilarious. Oh, sorry, the Ranma, not the ramen. Ranma box set. I don't know what that is. Sounds interesting. I probably have seen it around. Stefan, I'm just bad with names. Lone Syndicate is like peak example of being like, here's the name. This is what it's about really quick. And I'm like, got it immediately. Thank you. You don't even need to put the name. You can just put the thing and I get it. I'm not sure if anyone else works that way though, but I appreciate the effort. As far as Ghibli, my personal favorite is The Cat Returns, which is a spin-off of the prior films of the studio. Axiom says, I've heard Gurren Lagann, and while I think it's a good show, I think I've already exhausted any value I can get from it due to the video essays. I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like, to me, like, I don't really believe in spoilers. So I guess that's where I just depart entirely. I feel like it's the experience of watching the show. But maybe you're right. Maybe in some ways it's... I feel like the sequencing of, like, seeing things back to back would be quite entertaining, even still. Literally the only one I haven't watched. I need to make a list of these shows, or I'm gonna forget. Yes. It says sometimes that something that I found out when I started watching anime is that I can enjoy the genre of anime as when I watched regular shows. I had a preference, like I never watched drama shows, but watch drama anime. Interesting. I find everybody starts getting into anime with their very specific niche, whether that's by like, oh, I watched whatever was popular at the time. Like, oh, I watched Fairy Tail, and then I decided to watch, or I watched Dragon Ball Z, and then I wanted more of that, so I kind of watched fucking Fairy Tail, and then I watched One Piece, or whatever, and then I watched the Zero to Hero anime, I watched My Hero Academia. It's like all kind of in the same guise of like Zero to Hero, power scaling, attaining. And then I think eventually you get to a point where you're kind of like, that is boring. So then, or not boring, but that is played out. So then you're like, you know what? I'll watch a comedy show. Who doesn't like to laugh? Yeah. And then you watch that and you're like, I really like the comedy show. And then eventually you become like the person who likes all of the shows. And then eventually you hate everything and you don't like anime anymore. But you've watched it for years and you've watched such a copious amount of these stories that you have a background register of all of these kinds of shows. So you both hate it and know a lot about it, but secretly deep down love it because it was a part of your life that made it mean something and made you have value in this medium. But anyway, Axiom says, oh yeah, I watched Bubble, but I didn't like the movie. Yeah, Bubble one, that's a Netflix weird one, right? Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that that's not the same as, like it was not, like if you watch the previous guy's work, it's not as good as that. Lobosika says he doesn't take the magic girl power. She lets him borrow her chainsaw. I think that's the chainsaw is the key to her power and grin. But I just know he gets it. He like somehow she pissed at him because he has it forever. And she's like trying to get it back or something. She can't. And then eventually she's just like, I like hanging out. All right. Right, it was like a freaking harem situation, and the girl is just keeps getting weirder, and the main character is like, I'm done, like I'm just, yeah, that's my favorite part about it though. He makes he's not like, you know how the main like harem guy is always like asexual as hell. It's not even that. It's just the guy's just like, fuck all of you. What is wrong with everything? I just don't want to be here. You're gross. In fact, his only reverence is for the fucking necromancer girl, and she's literally nothing. She's like a fucking husk, mute of all emotions for various reasons of the show it talks about, but still. Lozika says, the witch anime Grin, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, can you tell me about it? The premise is that there's a guy, okay, so there's like this, we're in a fantasy world, there's magic, and apparently there was like this cleansing. There was like these group of people that used to just kill all witches, and then eventually they got outlawed or something like that, and now there's these academies, and there's this girl who's really good at magic. She's kind of like a short tsundere type, it seems, but there's this secret mysterious boy who has basically unending magic, and they're using him and his like endless reserve of magic to do healing magic, but there needs to be a person in the middle. This is this girl to kind of act as this kind of transition point of this kind of the spell. But apparently the dude, the main character, doesn't know his power essentially. Or sorry, he has no memory. He has no memory of what happened. So, but there's like my brother was telling me about, there's various like parts in the show where like he has a flashback of like a person bleeding out of their eyes and mouth. And then my brother is thinking that what's happening is that apparently because he has endless magic, he's tried to heal somebody at some point, and then if you overdose on magic, you like bleed out of your eyes, and your fucking whole body starts falling apart because it can't handle it. So yeah, but who knows? I think it's probably gonna end up where like he was because that's a weird explanation point where they're like, in this world of wizards and sorcerers, there used to be like these like hunters that used to kill them vigorously, and why is that relevant to the story necessarily? And I think the main guy might be involved with that somehow, who's lost his memory. Regardless, the school tasked him and this girl to go and like colonize a city essentially with like magic, some sort of weird thing. But it's got like a short hair, pink hair girl. It should be in the front page of Crunchyroll or Funimation. I think it's Crunchyroll. Should be in the front page of that. If you just go to Crunchyroll dubs on YouTube, one of the clips is that of that show. It pissed me off that I can't remember the name because it's something witch. It's like Hunt the Witch or something, Burn the Witch, something like that. If it's nothing like that, I'm gonna be peeved. My brain is that bad. Axiom says, laugh my ass off, that's funny. I don't like the Office or Friends. Well, that's funny, man. It's funny. What the hell? As for other mecha animes, stuff like Mobile Suit Gundam, Full Metal Panic OVA, those who hunt elves is really fun, but only in the original Japanese. Apply in the fun sci-fi series. Okay, Fluff. Do you like mecha shows? Because I've only really liked one, and I can't remember the fucking name of it. The premise is there's the main character, maybe you'll know it. It's like the main character is wearing like a white, like Bruce Lee kind of punching thing with sleeveless arms. It's a white shirt. He has like a ponytail. He kind of looks like a ferret, like a little like squirrel. He like controls this mecha thing, and he's like controls it as if he's like literally a human while he's controlling it, not like everyone controls it like they're mechanical things, whereas he's able to move it like it's literally like a snake or something. And there's like this blonde girl who's like a princess or something like that. He ends up he has to assassinate her. He fails or just doesn't want to. She prisons him, and then she becomes kind of like this thing. Any of this ringing a bell? Because to me, it's like one of the few mecha shows that I think is awesome. It's really fun and really cool. It's also like, I think from an anime series that is like old as hell. I think it's like Tensei or something like that. Tensei something. Fluff says, and before it blew up as a gacha game, I really liked Fate/Zero. Oh, okay. Lone Ticket says, like Dominant's Girlfriend, not sure if you heard of it, but it's drama anime, and if it was a TV show, I would just ignore it. Yeah, no, I've heard about it. Or domestic. Yeah, I've heard about it. It seems like just a love triangle. Yeah, it's one of those ones I want to watch Lone Ticket because I just like anime as is, and I just watch whatever I think someone looks interesting. But at the same time, it looks a little bit like, I don't know, I've talked to you guys about this beforehand, and I really got to stop bringing it up, because I feel like people are just going to be like, he doesn't like conflict. I just don't like conflict I've seen 1,000 times. That to me seems void of human reality. Like, you know, like what are the odds that this person would say the worst thing that we as the viewer know would destroy this person, but them as a person has never seen what happened, and then they just detonate this person's whole world. And what is the only point of that is to have various horrible emotions of conflict within the viewer. To me, where I don't like stuff like that. That's like, what the hell? Same thing with like my hatred for certain horror shows, especially horror anime, is it literally is just like, I hate when things are only done for a way that to me doesn't seem like it sequences or resonates in any way. So it's like, hey, it's been a horror show. Hey, it's been like 10 seconds. Let's show somebody getting beheaded. And we're like, why? Is it like there's a point? Is it to show the severity of the world? Is it to show the severity of the person that's their fucked up mental state? No, it's literally just because we wanted to show you something that's gonna make you feel just like grossed out. Cool, here's this. Boom. Okay, and that doesn't mean anything, you know. And then I always talk about other shows that I think do it well, which actually give it like a merit. Like, hey, this is a horrible thing, but it matters because this is gonna sequence within the story or make it feel like it makes sense within the story, based on severity or whatever, right? Axiom says, I feel like in order for me to want to watch anime, I need to be better than everything I want to watch. It needs to be better than anything else I want to watch. Yeah, Tim, the more I hear about Axiom, the more I'm not sure if you may even just be an anime fan. Like, I think to me, like, that's Yeah, to me that's a bad way to take anything, is to have expectations for it to be so grand, or like, yeah, I think to have expectations that it needs to be worth your time is weird. I don't think that's healthy. Yeah, because to me it's like you have such high expectations that I don't know anything. I think oftentimes if you do have things that you quite enjoy, I think it's probably surprising. Or maybe it's because someone has made such a good argument for why it's good that it becomes good. The only other anime that kind of comes to mind that I think is both fun, interesting, and if you're willing to actually pay attention to the artistry / philosophy of it, then I can make sense of it. Like then that could be good. The show I'm talking about right now is called Mob Psycho. But that it's not that. By the way, when I say that about you, I'm not. This is like I found a show that I'm very similar to. I liked this show called Mob Psycho quite a lot when I was watching it. But I didn't register a lot of the things because I was just kind of watching it as what it was sold to me, which was basically a zero to hero show, or like a OP main protagonist show. And then I watched a video essay on it by a person who makes a lot of fun video essays that I quite like a lot, but they're kind of they're more akin to goofy fun humor, but also kind of pivots back to like resonating with a very good argument and a very good perspective of what the artist was trying to do or the creator was trying to do. But yeah, the show on Mob Psycho 100%, a person basically was like slowed down and said, here's what the whole show is telling you. Here's why it's happening the way it's happening. Here are the life lessons and the reasons why they have merit. But as far as a show, yeah, to me, when I read that sentence, that I feel like in order for me to want to watch an anime, it needs to be better than anything else I want to watch. To me, it seems like that's a high bar to clear, and I don't know if any show can clear that. And if it is, it's a show that you have no expectations for, and you just kind of watched on a whim, and you're like, holy shit. Or you have been, how do I put it? You have been pre-gamed. You've been hella pre-gamed, which is basically a video essay telling you how magical it is, so that when you're watching, you're like, yeah, it's magical, or not being able to be like, yeah, it's pretty crazy to me, you know. But that's just my inference. But yeah, Alone Syndicate says, interesting. It sounds cool. No, I haven't come across anything like that. The anime season. Wait, never mind. Dawn of the Witch. Yeah, it's exactly what it's called. Dawn of the Witch is on the list. Yeah. That's the one it is. That's exactly what it's called. Dawn of the Witch. I thought it was something like Death to the Witch or something. Witch. I knew Witch was in the name. I did good. But yeah, no, Dawn of the Witch is what it's called. It seems cool. It's on the list. Yeah. The girl has blonde. Yeah, blonde hair. Kind of got a staff and shit. Yeah. Fluff says, doesn't ring a bell, but sounds interesting. I'll probably send it to you, Fluff, because if you like mecha, it's fun. It's one of the few shows that I can look back fondly on, and it's just a fun watch, you know. It's also very much a main character that is like. He's like a god, but not really. He's just like superhuman, essentially. But they do a really good job about, like, a lot of times characters in anime will do stuff that's impressive, and they're like, oh my god, no, and then they forget about it. Whereas in this show, it's like, this guy's a freak. Like, he literally can, like, and he also has like a weird skill set where he can just do a lot of crazy shit. Yeah, I think you'd like it. I liked it quite a bit. I'll send it to you in a Discord if I remember. Hopefully I remember. Lindsay it says, well, I don't think it's like that, Grin. Domestic girlfriend, there are reasons things happen. Like the main character is Harada with this random girl, but he also has feelings for his teacher, and those two turn out to be sisters, and her mother, Mary, the dad, and they trying to figure out how to make the... I understand. Yeah, no, I understand the premise of it. I knew the whole domestic girlfriend thing. I've heard about it. Yeah, to me, yeah. Yeah. Fluff says, I'll note I don't have any dedicated anime subscription services, so best I can do is if it's on Netflix or Hulu. What if I send you a link to a site that is you can watch things on? Would that be okay? Because it is not on Netflix. It's one of the few animes that I've never heard anybody talk about. I've never seen advertised on any like platform, but I don't know. It's one of the few. I think it's a hidden gem. What kind of show? It's also completed. It's not like you'll have a nice sequenced ending. But also maybe I just liked it. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. You know? That could also be the case. Axiom says, I'm not an anime fan. The only reason I ask is because you guys know a lot about anime. Yeah, it's true. But yeah, to me, I worry for you, not even as an anime fan, but as just a person who wants to watch stuff that is. I feel like, yeah, expectations can ruin art. You know, that's like half the best part about art is you hearing someone say this is worth a damn, and then going into it. Granted, I do understand that like the harmony that comes from having a person express their love for something in a weird way can kind of make you truly acknowledge the wonder that this thing is doing. You know, whereas otherwise, you could just not accept that that's happening in a weird way. You know, you could just like kind of wall yourself off and not accept that this is a part of the show or a message in the show that makes everything sequence and makes sense. You know, I think of anime as an aesthetic style rather than as someone very different than TV or movies. Yeah, to me, I don't think anime is even close. That's why, as much as I understand that's the way you perceive it, I feel like anime is very weird. Like I think it is a different thing entirely. Like I don't know many. Like you can watch an action. I don't know how to put it. You can watch a romance show on TV, and it's usually like CW weird things where it's like, hey, there's a prince, and like this prince, for whatever reason, loves this like weird news reporter who's kind of stagnated in her life. You know, which happens in anime. It's just the inverse of men basically being that, and less prince and shit, and more just like waifu or something. But yeah, to me, I think anime is very, I don't know, to me it seems very polarizing, you know? Fluff says, feel free to link to me later, Grin. I'll try to check it. Okay. I'll be curious to see what you think about it. Lone Singer says, I have a lot of anime to check out. Now I think about like the queue is only dude, I've been sitting here. You know what sucks, Lone Syndicate? I don't think I ever write down my queue. I just know that there's shows I want to watch. And then all the time I'll be like, oh, right, because I was sitting here for a while here. I was like, I just finished the one show I was watching, The Realist Hero, which, by the way, but I was sitting here like, I don't know what to watch next. And I remember in my head a while ago, I was like, after this show, I'm going to watch King Rankers. So when you guys said that, I was like, great. But I was like, I guess I'll watch, I think one of the ones in my queue was God of High School, which I think is going to be great. But I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll watch God of High School. But I was like, what was that show I wanted to watch? So then I was like, now I hope I don't forget it again. But still. But also, a lot of editing is in my future. Because I think I have a video for you guys. I have 2 videos for you guys. Both are share grin videos. One of them is 3 minutes. So it's another fucking anime review. But yeah, I've been super busy this whole week. Like I've been going nonstop. So, and tomorrow is also that. So I hope I can stomach a good bit of editing for tonight. And then I'll hopefully be okay for a day, and then Monday I'll get after it. Fluff says, another thing it says, bigger by the day. Axiom says, right now I wanted to expand my knowledge of storytelling, and to do that I would need to watch a lot of old movies such as Seven Samurai and such. Interesting, Axiom. Yeah, I am. To me, yeah, you were on the art student path, like the film art kind of path. I took a class in when I was in high school, and it was all about like watching old movies. They're very fun and cool, but yeah, I'm yeah, not to my hope of thing. Yeah. But yeah, more power to you. I think it's interesting. I know I've always heard people have that like affinity for that reverence for old movies and for cinematography and for shows in general, or art in general, film art, I guess, or movie art, or whatever it be. And yeah, I'm alien to that. I find I want to hear a fun story that's different and interesting, even if it's weird. I think it's still wonderful. And also, I would like to be the person that can find the wonder in any story, whether it's the ideas that they try to persuade but don't really hit the mark. I want to be that. I want to try to find the wonder in the world and not have to sift through all of the monotony to find the one thing that speaks to me, you know? But that's my perspective of the thing. I'd rather be content with nothing than to need all of it to be content. I guess that makes sense. Oh, Fluff says, Wait, no, Lonsky said God of High School is another anime in the... Yeah, man, same, me and you both. Also, Lonsky, have you seen Mob Psycho 100%? Because the season 3 trailer, baby, is just coming out. I can't wait. Mob is getting graduating high school. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Oh. Lonsky says, also, a game I've been thinking about getting back to is Red Dead 2. I don't know why, but I've just had the real urge to play it. Dude, I never beat Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead. Well, with Arthur Morgan, I think it's Red Dead Redemption 2. I've never went back and beat it, man. I never beat that game. I heard a lot of people say it's magical. I got really into it, and then I kind of stopped. And it's not that I wasn't having fun. It was just I think there was like content, other video games to play. I was trying to, create content on YouTube, and I was like, this is not really doing well. Also, I was kind of selfish in that week. I was just kind of tagging videos on. It was in a time where I was kind of like, what do I do with YouTube? How do I do this? We're in kind of a shock period. Like, I don't know what to do. Lone Sing, it says, I read that. Red Dead. Axiom says, the thing is that right now I want to watch things that answer questions and reveal truths more than watch old movies and books first. More than watching old movies and books. That makes sense. Yeah. The kind of like, I guess to me it's just the kind of the lens that I was looking through content that I would suggest to you was a little. For me, it was like you mentioned, like artsy and like kind of that. But to me, there's a bunch of shows that kind of have like a lot of life lessons / but also truths is also a storytelling metric. But like that's like everyone can make a truth given the story that's being told, So I wonder if, but I understand what you're saying. You want a story that has that resonance, that has that like feeling of that. Lone Sing, it says, Mob Psycho 100% is another anime that I heard about before started watching anime. Oh my god, Lone Syndicate. Oh man, where's my goddamn car keys? I got a little mob on my car keys, man. Little Mob Psycho. I love that show. That show is also like, how do I put it? I would suggest, Lone Syndicate, if you could watch any show, if you're going to watch that show, I should say, there's an anime video. Let me know when you're about to watch it, because I almost feel like I'll give you a video that will spoil some things, but it'll also help you look at the show through a lens in which I think would make it more magical. But it's a video essay video of an anime. It's so fucking good. It's like it's filled to the gills with like wonderful perspectives of life. I think, as much as that may be cheesy to say for some people, but I truly love it. It's a show that talks to the idea of like. The premise is madness, but it's beautiful. The premise is that, again, there's this kid who is born with an ungodly amount of psychic powers, but he has zero urge to use those for his advantage. And this is kind of like an overarching thread of the show, is this idea of like, well, what happens if you were given by your birth, by your genetics, by whatever, an easy scapegoat for a path, but you had no interest in that path. Say you were really tall and very coordinated, and very skilled even in basketball, but you had zero, not a single bit of desire to seek that route of being a peak basketball player. Well, the show makes a good argument for you just gotta work. You gotta work your ass off. And you may not get it, but you still work, and you accept what you are and you move forward. But it's funny because the show does this thing where his brother, the contrast Mob is this kid who has incredible psychic powers, but is terrible at everything. He's not physically as a physical being. He's not coordinated. He's nothing. He's not smart, but he has got god level power of psychic ability. He could like nuke a city if he wanted. But his brother is like the opposite of him. He's got everything but psychic powers. No. But point being is he's like this popular. He's good at communicating. He's handsome. He's all these things. And his brother always looks at Mob like, what the fuck are you doing? Because Mob has the ability to be a god. Mob could get anything he could ever want. And his brother constantly looks at him dumbfounded like what are you doing? Like, use your fucking power. But Mob is like, I have, like, this is not a path. Why? Like, but also the show talks about how, like, you're the show has such beautiful things, which is like, you're not special. But also, the world is still beautiful and wonderful and like interesting, and in some ways you kind of are special, but not in the way that you may think, not in this way of like you're idolized or you're this unique person or like you're above other people, but you are you. And the complexities of you is in the kind of a way that makes you unique, not special but unique. But not alone, you know. And it's to me, it's one of the more beautiful shows that has like symbology, and it's got a weird art style, and I don't think many people can stomach its oddness. Lone Syndicate, I definitely think you will, but yeah, it's one of those few shows that I think is truly wonderful. But also, I don't know if you would like it as much if you didn't understand what it's trying to do, which is the baseline understanding of the show, at least to me, is that what happens if you were born with something that you had no desire to use. And everyone kept telling you to use your power. Well, you'd fight for a life that is yours. You may not have any innate advantage or skill or talent in it, but if you bet on the horse that's all talent and you have no desire for it, then you're going to have a miserable life. Whereas if you say, you know what, I may not have any talent in this, but I still think this is a path worth living because it's one that I want, and you devote yourself entirely to it, that's kind of a beautiful thing. Anyways, sorry, a little tangent aside. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end the stream pretty soon. Let me hear someone who we should go raid. Please, 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 give me someone who we should go raid. Let me catch up. Axiom says the reason for that is that seems to be going down a career path of art and writing, despite the fact that I both hate the act of writing and cannot write. I don't know if that's true, Axiom. I think you can write. I think you, yeah. I think everyone. I got books for you to read if you want to. I think you can be whatever you want. Yeah, but granted, if you have if you do not enjoy writing, if you do not enjoy all those things, then that's kind of, you should watch Mob. Mob Psycho 100%. Fluff says, I need to find time to start and work my way through Yakuza series. I made the most progress in 7, like the dragon, but I realize I should go back with 0 so I can get proper background for various characters. Yeah, that'd be a good idea, Fluff. Yeah, I hear a lot of people love that show. It's like I love that game. Sorry, it's a very beloved specific show. Lone Syndicate says, same Grin, I have also never beat the game, but technically, like, I never finished the epilogue of it. You know, I see a lot of people say that game ends with tears, like you'll cry your ass off, and I don't know what that means. But I also don't think it ends, like, depressing. You know, I think it ends like this fulfilling, but yet sad, fulfilling kind of thing. Fluff says, was going to do so today and might still do so after the stream. It's just a big time investment since there's 8 main entries for me to play through. Yeah, I was about to say, Fluff. Also, we got some games coming up, man. We got some Saints and Rose things happening. Axiom says, I've always been bad at writing all of my life. It usually takes me 5x as long to create something equal to quality of someone else. Yeah, what do you call it? Axiom, I would say there's books I would tell you to read, but I'm not sure if you're asking, but I would say if you could read a book called With Winning in Mind by Lenny Bassam, I think that would help. Because it kind of tells you that the truth is that you're not actually terrible at anything. A lot of it is your process and your perspective of yourself. And I truly believe that. Now, granted, yes, there is something I think general called talent, but I don't think that determines. Yeah, I don't think that determines much besides like your proclivity to a momentum essentially. But I don't think that means you don't get momentum. But yeah. Lone Syndicate says, also, before we end the stream, an anime I'm gonna start watching is Happy Sugar Life. It's an anime I saw a meme about. You might have seen it, this purple-haired girl whose head is covered in bandages. But the reason I never could watch, because it was on Prime Video. And I just found out that you have... that if you have an Amazon Prime, you also have Prime Video. You do, yeah. It's interesting, man. I think I've seen something like that too. I've never actually watched it. You'll have to let me know if it's good. Well, it's also Grin where did your message go? And Grin, God dang it, you make me want to check it out now. You sure know how to be a sales pitch for an anime and not just a video, but also live. I mean, I don't know if it's that Lone Syndicate. To me, Mob Psycho is, I think, one of like the yeah, like to me, I think it's not that it's a sale. It's literally that, like, to me, it's a beautiful show. Like, you know, it's like genuinely, I think the show is. I've never watched it and not thought everything that it said as like a human resonance to it. Everything it says has a human resonance to it. So I find it to be like something good to watch in terms of the philosophy that it talks about life, about your place in the world, about the feeling of not being adequate or talentless or something like that. Yeah. But I appreciate the compliment, by the way. It was a nice thing I heard all day. Stefan says, TKS for interesting chat and nice meeting everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by, man, Stefan. I hope we can see more of you. You were nothing but wonderful. Thank you. Lone Singing says, the people I have that are live is people who we've rated recently, so I've got no suggestions. Fluff says, I've already juggled a few games to keep myself from burning out on the entry, so I wouldn't have much issue with the Sunbreak, DNF Duel, and Saints Row. Yeah, there's the only so much time I can play fighting games, and other two will likely rely on co-op partners if available. Yeah, I can see that. Stefan says, came from your YouTube. Thank you so much for stopping by, Stefan. Hope I can see it. Yeah, it's so cool. It's good to know that the YouTube channel still, the GRINN channel still can pull some people into the streams. But ladies and gentlemen, we may just end it. We may just come to a close. Axiom says, I use the same system to measure what video games I want to watch as I do TV shows and movies. Okay. Right now, I want to play FFVI and Fallout New Vegas because of that. Dude, Fallout New Vegas, I can tell you, is a goddamn banger. That's such a good show. Let me see. Do I have anyone who we could raid? I don't think so. Everybody's killing it on Twitch. Let me see. What is this person? Oh. Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, we're just gonna wind down. We're just gonna wind down softly, gently. Ladies and gentlemen, I will have to make you a YouTube thumbnail for today's video. I think it is going to be about me talking about anime, which, you know, a little redundant, but you know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Hope I can see you guys tomorrow. Thank you kindly for putting out with me. I appreciate everyone for being so sweet. Tomorrow we will be streaming as well over Twitch. We're going to be probably playing some good old Tiny Tina's Wonderland, but I will say be patient with me again. I was able to make it to this stream on time. We got after it, but this will be the third day where I've been probably in a state of constant motion ever since 8 a.m. So I might be like even more of a husk tomorrow. So hopefully you won't, yeah, it'll be okay, hopefully. Thank you so much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the video going up in a couple minutes here. Thank you kindly for your time. I appreciate you so much. And hopefully I can see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.